So Michael Burry is shorting Micron Technologies. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechWit Solutions here with a quick kind of market update, but really more of a Michael Burry update. I feel like a lot of people are talking about it. I wanted to share some of the details that I've learned. And again, if there's anything that you want to share that you've learned about Michael Burry's short, feel free to share it down in the comment section. With that being said, obviously, just because he decided to short it doesn't mean that you should as well. He's been wrong many times in the past before. Obviously, he is very famous for the big short, meaning he shorted the housing bubble and he made his clients hundreds of millions of dollars, right? It's how he really established his name. And although he has called out, overbought and overvalued stocks in the past before, there are many times that it has not worked out exactly according to plan. So again, no one has a 100% success rate. This is simply just an idea, but I love when he shares his opinions just because I'm going to take it as just that, and I can dig a little bit deeper and see if I can agree with it or if it just doesn't make sense to me, right? Let's go ahead and jump right into it. I really hope that you guys appreciate this video. If you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. So Michael Burry shorts Micron, adding to his NVIDIA and Applied Materials short bets against chip stocks. So for some of the details, right? A quick little disclosure. For those that do not know, Michael Burry no longer runs a public firm. So he doesn't have to disclose this publicly to the SEC any longer. This was actually shared in his Substack, which is like what would you call that? Like a private channel where people pay a subscription to have access to maybe his thoughts and his callouts. With that being said, it says Michael Burry, Scion Asset Management founder, popularized from the Big Short, disclosed a new short position against Micron Technologies in a Substack post dated July 2nd, so literally just yesterday. Burry stated that the puts seemed expensive, so he shorted the stock directly and would add puts if volatility eases. He identified his disclosed entry of $1,051.87 per share. So it sounds like it's not an aggressive short. It seems like he's open to the idea of adding more to it if direction becomes favorable, but he also did not disclose the size of his short, right? As again, he no longer needs to. For those that do not know, Micron in just 2026 alone is up over 200%. From the lows of $290 per share to the highs of, it shows 1,255, but it actually hit during extended hours highs of 1,330. So again, it's one of the best performing stocks of 2026. Although it has amazing price performance, one thing that I want to make sure that I do my part in sharing with you guys is that, if we go on the Investing Pro software and we just go based off of current fundamentals, which is what this company is reporting. This company, according to Fair Value Analyst, says that there's 6.5% downside. So not, a huge amount of downside. The P ratio is not very expensive according to competition, right? 21.8 times its earnings, and its forward P ratio is even less or even smaller, which means you're paying less of a premium. And it's because this company generates not just so much revenue, but also so much profit. Net income is $50 billion. This company does have a whopping market cap of $1.1 trillion. So why would Michael Burry, if he could see that it has strong fundamentals, consider shorting a stock that is not only just a strong performer for 2026, but also a fundamentally growing company? There's something different here, right? It's not just that it's an overbought stock. It's also fundamentally sound. So what gives, right? And again, when you dig a little bit deeper and you begin to understand his why, right? That's one thing that you want to maybe take into consideration. He says that obviously arguing that AI-related stocks may be due for a 30% correction. And if we take this into consideration, with U.S. markets closed for the holiday, the disclosure lands in a market where everyone of the Burry's target has ripped higher year to date. His thesis leans on the cycle's history and stretch technicals. So Micron shares are up 242%. So pay attention to this. 242% year to date through July 2nd, with a market cap of nearly 1.17 trillion. Michael Burry argues that the rally has reached historically extreme levels, with Micron stock more extended above the 200 moving average, right? 200 moving average, far above it. So let's go back. Has stretched above the 200 moving average than any point since 1984, not even during the dot-com peak. Burry stated that Micron defines cyclical like no other, citing 34 drawdowns of more than 30% over 42 years. So he is saying in a span of 42 years, Micron has corrected at least 30% over, 34 times in 42 years. So again, it's not that it has to happen. Obviously, every scenario is different, but a median return of invested capital of 4% and return of equity of 7%, which he called frankly terrible. He added that 1 quarter in every 3, Micron is a destroyer of capital, with free cash flow negative 48% of the time. His view, the move reflects fear of missing out. So he is saying that there's a lot of FOMO buying that's happening and greater full dynamics around high bandwidth memory, HBM, being sold out through 2026. The timing carries the same irony given President Trump praised Micron for a $250 million commitment to the Trump accounts, which again do go live tomorrow. We can talk about that at the end of the video. The CEO, Sanjay, highlighted more than $200 billion in U.S. memory investment. The bull case remains formidable. Micron posted Q3 revenue of $41.46 billion, up 346% year over year. So again, incredibly strong fundamentals. The guided Q4 revenue is approximately $50 billion per its 8-K filing. So this reflects the strategic value of memory in the AI era. Analysts carry an average MU stock price of almost 1,500, with 30 buy and 9 strong buy ratings. So all I'm hearing about Micron, because that's the one I really want to focus on. He's talked about NVIDIA before. Obviously, that hasn't panned out too well. What investors can watch now. Burry has been early to cycle calls before. Though short sellers face unlimited loss risk, which is true, theoretically speaking, there is no cap on how high a stock can go. And again, knowing Micron's history, it went from, less than $100 per share back in 2004, really 2005, to $1,300. So theoretically speaking, obviously a stock can continue to gap up higher if price action and fundamentals support it, right? Really just price action. With that being said, this is where you have to be very careful. Obviously, Michael Burry knows how to manage and mitigate risk. So again, for beginners out there, shorting does come at a greater form of risk. If you're terrible at managing risk, being straight up with you, you probably shouldn't short, right? Structurally growing themes can bleed and extend periods before the thesis actually pays off. So the idea behind this is that Michael Burry tends to be early, and the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, right? Because when you're shorting, you're borrowing shares. So therefore, it could really end up going against you, especially if you end up using margin, right? Investors watching the debate may want to watch HBM pricing and hyperscale CapEx commentary. They can also be on the lookout for Micron's Q4 earning report, which again is far from now, which targets $50 billion and $1 billion in revenue. This could either extend AI memory thesis or expose the cyclicity that Burry highlights. Cautious. Position sizing on either side seems reasonable, given Micron stock has a beta of 2.17. Burry's disclosure could reshape the sentiment among traders who track his positioning. Though his thesis remains opinion rather than certainty, which is very true, the next earnings cycle across the chip supply chain may determine whether its contrarian bet ages well or arrives too soon. So my biggest thing out of all of this is that semiconductor stocks are incredibly hot. They're the best performing sector in the market for 2026. It is incredibly risky to take a heavy short position right now. With that being said, markets are in the very early stages of a possible, right? If you go on QQQ and you click on the day chart, they're still testing the support. There is no break of support, no break of structure. Markets are bullish for now. If we actually begin to see a break of support, and right, we haven't broken this support since April? With that being said, if we actually see a break of support and markets actually beginning to correct, then at that point, it could be perfect timing that there's a change of sentiment. Semiconductors could be possibly overbought in the shorter time frame, technically, right? And maybe due for a pullback. It sounds like Michael Burry is aiming for a 30% retracement. I honestly don't think his average price of $1,050 is super attractive, right? It was trading at $1,200 not that long ago. Literally could have been last week if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so $1,100. So I don't care too much about that, where his average is or that now he is shorting. I think that what he is saying is kind of something that we've all been thinking, is that, hey, Micron, although fundamentally it is a great company and performing great in 2025 and 2026, has it grown too much too quick? And zooming out, right, different timeframes give you different perspectives. You can see how overextended it is and the gap that it built from the moving average. So is it overbought enough that, hey, even if it does correct 30% from its highs, right? If we take that into consideration, what does that even look like? A 30% retracement from the highs is 860. We kind of already have tested that support. I don't really feel like that's far-fetched, especially knowing his average price of $1,050. It's not like he's going to catch that full move, right? I think I can speak for most of us is that if overall markets, this is my biggest focus right now, if overall markets, QQQ and S&P 500 actually begin to sell off and break that support on the day chart and begin to actually form lower lows, which it has not done since April, if we actually get that break of support, I would feel more comfortable taking a short on companies like Micron for a short period of time. Because yes, in a very short period of time, they have rallied so much, they've become so overbought, technically speaking, that they might be due for a little correction. And 30%, although it might suck for all those that bought at very overbought levels, that's bad and sucks for them. But for people like us, we can make a little bit of money as it sells off. But let's always remind ourselves, you always make the most money going long, especially in fundamentally sound companies. So again, if you're a beginner and you're terrible at managing risk, and you know yourself, if you suck at managing risk, don't even short. I would literally just stay light or stay cash, allow the sell-off to happen, and then buy whatever, if you're into it, semiconductor stock you see value in. I would love to invest in Micron, especially if it becomes oversold enough that I can get it for a decent deal. I love that fundamentally it's growing just as strong as it's been growing technically, right? Based off of its price. And that's the part that excites me the most, is that both can be right, is that it is a great company, but yes, in such a short period of time, it also has gapped up so much. And a lot of it, let's be honest, is based off of Trump's tweets and his deal, no deal with Iran that has pushed markets to elevated levels that now no longer can they maybe sustain themselves due to inflation and labor market concerns. So again, now the Federal Reserve is possibly expecting to raise interest rates instead of cutting interest rates, something that could also be more bearish than bullish. The biggest indicator for me would be a break of support on QQQ or the S&P 500 on the day chart, actively selling off. And then at that point, I view it as an incubator effect. As overall markets begin to sell off, then it's always the most overvalued stocks that will correct the hardest. And at that point, I can definitely see a 30% retracement begin to present itself. And then after it does, I would love, after I close out my small short on Micron, I would love to, even early, begin to buy the dip on good semiconductor companies, not Intel, not for me. I just don't like that company because it loses money every year. But I do like Micron. I do like a handful of the others that I would like to invest some money, especially for my kids, as this whole AI boom is still taking place. So those are my thoughts. I wanted to break down a little bit of Michael Burry and his take. Reminder, yes, he has been right in the past before, but he has been wrong many times before. If you're terrible at managing risk, do not short. There's nothing wrong with just staying cash and waiting for the deals to present themselves. But this is the part that should excite you, is that, again, there is opportunity among us for both the bear case and the bull case. And, only time will tell, right? And that's the part that's super, super cool. With that being said, again, if you ever want to take time to plan out your trade, we offer a risk calculator for free. And this can allow you to be able to calculate your entry, your stop loss, your profit, take profit, the number of shares. And before you even take the trade, it presents to you your risk to reward ratio and how much you can make and how much you could potentially lose. I think too many traders focus on how much money they can make, but not enough on how much risk exposure you have per trade. And again, this is all something that you can take time, plan out your trades before you actually take them. And this is available on our LPP homepage. It's for free. Second link in the description down below. Also, for all of our parents out there, including myself, right? I just had my second kid in 2025. I want to remind you that Trump's accounts go live tomorrow. I created this Heritage Gap page, and all it's going to be is going to be a series of videos that educate parents on how to apply for the $1,000 Trump accounts that, as long as you had a kid after 2025, up until 2028, I believe, you can apply for the $1,000, and it's just an investment account. Our goal is to help 1,000 parents start investing. It's going to be free. It's just going to be like a series of videos through like YouTube that will be sent to you via email, and then you can watch them. And if you want to apply for it, then you can. That's all. Right? Just educating parents on how to apply for it. So again, this is going to be heritagegap.com. You can feel free to apply. And as soon as it goes live and we begin to learn more about how it all works, I'll make sure that I make those series of videos and send it on over to all of you young parents out there. Other than that, again, like I said, every morning right at Market Open, our LPP team, I work with them every single day. If you ever want to tune on into our live trading session, it is our private group and it's only available to our LPP team. Second link down below if you want to learn more about it. And again, we have a little discount there for you for the 4th of July sale. I appreciate you guys' time. Hope and wish you guys an amazing 4th of July weekend. Be safe. Don't lose a hand. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.